A bird. Is that Arlene or is that Lewis? Help with CSS margins and padding?
I wrote the note, but Lewis is he's my partner in our business we're building together for our app, but he has those concerns, so it would help him a lot. So I'm gonna let him take it.
Yes. Okay. So Lewis, if you're open, you can show your project and let us know if you're working on, if we want to look at a specific area, or if is it just a general question?
Hey everybody, how's it going? Honestly, it's a little bit of everything. Might have to mute that. Yeah, it's a little bit of everything that's going on here. So that being said, let me grab my screen. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
All right. And let's see here. All right, can I get a verbal cue that you can see my screen? Okay.
Guys, can you see it?
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah.
Sorry, there we go. There we go.
There it is.
Got to hit share.
Nice.
All right, so here's what we're working with. I guess starting with some of the more high level questions is, so we're building this application, Kataba, and it's all about this real estate stuff that we're working with and keeping records for people. As Arlene may have told you all before, I'm doing more of the front end design. She's really doing a lot of the back end stuff with it. That being said, as you may know, designers, we see things a certain way and we just want it to work that way as it shows up. That being said, what I want to look at is from the mobile application. So I'm not sure if this is definitely dealing with the responsive nature of Builder. So I'm not sure if it's possibly a potential bug or if it's something that I'm actually doing wrong, trying to set this UX up. So the biggest thing I want to start with is pretty much the headers and the footers. So like when it shows up on the responsive side of things, those two components typically aren't in the same place. So for example, I'm gonna switch over to my inspector and it shows up here, but let's see here. It works responsively, but for whatever reason, it's like once we start getting down smaller, and I know this isn't realistic, but a couple things that are going on here, it's like the header at the top is really shrinking in. I'm not sure why is it moving this way. And then the biggest concern, however, is the footer. For whatever reason, I cannot get the footer to represent like it represents in the Builder atmosphere, the canvas or whatnot. It shows up fine here and everything's working, but when I do the basically testing it, I don't know what's going on. So I really need help trying to understand pretty much the headers and the footers, like what's going on, why is it stretching and not stretching and all these things.
It seems like just like specific bugs, not bugs, but specific quirks. Like, so there's probably just one or two styles somewhere in there that we'll just need to update. So we can kind of like look through. I think for the header one, it's actually might be caused by the footer. So the footer is pushing extra wide and showing that space on the side, and the header is technically correct. And so if we tackle the footer first, I think it might fix the header automatically.
All right, let's see.
So let's just look on, go through starting here, and let's just look at all the styles that are on there and try to figure out what's going on.
Okay, so you want me to start at the component page or right where we're at?
Are there any styles in that component class on the right? Probably not.
No, nothing's there.
Okay. So go to that component page then, and let's just look at the outermost style.
All right. So let's see here. So let's body. Nothing's changed there. Didn't do anything in there. Set up a column, and we ended up creating a utility class for this here.
What's in the utility class? Let's make sure I'm just looking, maybe there's just a hard coded width somewhere.
Okay.
Like so see. Check in there.
All right. You want me to do the used props?
Yeah, that'll be an easy way to find it.
Okay.
So that looks like a width is there, but not filled out, but maybe. See width like a couple down from where you are, and
Okay,
it's
let's see.
blank.
Yep.
Click the 3 dot menu and hit enter manually. Like over from that, yeah, that right there.
All
Just to
right.
make sure, I want to see maybe there's a value in there. Oh no, it's blank. I guess let's just keep looking at these styles. Because a blank width like that basically won't do anything, just won't affect anything. So
Right.
that's- Yeah. Okay, maybe the columns themselves, maybe one of them has a width,
Let's see. Let's go back.
because that all looks pretty good.
And there is some, I don't know if you noticed, there's a mobile media query set. So I don't know if there's any.
Oh, yeah,
Right
yeah,
here.
check. Yep, check that and see what that says. Okay, so one thing here that's going on is that it's not resetting them to like stack or anything,
Uh-huh.
which you probably intend. But so that leads me to believe that if one of those has a width, that could be the problem right there.
Okay.
I don't know what changed on this. I haven't seen anything change on this breakpoint yet, but it's highlighted. Oh, there it is, padding. Yeah, that
There's
should be good. It looks all good.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah,
Okay.
now I'll check those the columns, the next element down, yeah. Or not, I
And-
mean, that columns, but yeah, this one right here.
Okay, this one here.
Mhm. Nothing on it.
Nothing
Check
there.
that. No. Nothing, okay. Check into that primary style class there.
Oops. So it has this max width at 1200. I think that kind of came with it though. I'm not sure though.
I wonder if something's up with it, because in here, I see some styles that are like. It looks like, so in Builder, you can only style like per element, but it looks like there's
Right.
children selectors in there, so maybe that's breaking something. But I can see where it says nav ULLI. That's like probably not being handled correctly by Builder. So
Oh,
if you actually click on the CSS tab all the way at the bottom. you
all
can
at the
see
bottom. Yep. I got you.
Yeah. So in there, you can't really do that. How it says nav ULLIA.
Uh-huh.
That won't work, and neither will nav active color red.
Okay, so
So-
that's breaking it up somehow.
So I bet you that's doing something to it that's causing the issue. That would be my guess, because we haven't seen anything else that looks like it's causing the issue yet.
Is that something, Louis, you were trying to do?
I don't think so. I think it just let me go back.
I can,
Did you
I
get that
can,
from somewhere or
speak to
did this
that.
come from a template?
well, I guess
Uh,
that I was doing some styling with our menu options. So every time you click on something, it would change just the color of the word in the menu.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
where that came from.
So the way that you have to do this, if you want to do it that way, you can still. You have to put it in a code block element, and you can change the tag to style and then write it, because the style panel here, it won't accept like the actual CSS like child selectors like that. So it'll only accept style values, like style property value for the element it's selected on. So that's what's
Okay.
going on there. So you could actually basically move that code into a code block, and then you could have to target this class. And the way you do that is you have to find the class ID, which I don't know if you've done that yet, but it's basically.
Can we show them where to grab that, Drew, the class ID?
Yeah, you have to go to the project menu and then styles, and then search
So
for the
first step, we'll
class.
save, he's copied that and then save this just like this.
Yep.
Okay. And then do you want to paste that somewhere? Do you have a notepad you could paste that in real quick? Because I think we might be copying something else in just a second.
All right, let me open up something.
Or you can create a code block element and paste it right into there, because that's where we'll ultimately put it. So if you
Okay.
just like add new element, and it's called code block.
Gotcha. Okay.
Perfect. And he's just going to put that on the same page, Drew.
Yeah, that can actually go anywhere on the page. I mean, you might want to move it later for your own organization, but it's behind the scenes code, so you can put it anywhere.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so you do
Oh.
that, and then that first tag name drop down on the right, you change to style. And so basically
Alright.
give you a style, and then paste it exactly like that. And it looks like technically that's missing a closing curly bracket at the end. So you want to add that. I don't know, wait, the closing, right there. And then
And then
hit
make
save
sure to
changes
save.
on the bottom. or the middle of the page. Yeah.
Oh, right here.
Yep.
Search interest. Gotcha.
And so that you basically that moves that code out, but that's not correct yet because now we need to target that class that we were just in.
Uh-huh.
So do you remember the class name of what we were just in?
Yeah, it was a container style class. I mean, it's a pretty generic name, but it's like navigation style. It's pretty long, so I'll see it when he.
Oh yeah, we could just as long as we can search for it and like you can recognize it.
Yeah.
Fine. So yeah, all right. So now go to the project menu at the top menu where it says the project name.
Okay. Up here. Oh, right here.
Yep, yep. And then styles. It's like a little under halfway down. Yeah. Click that. And then in here, this is where you search. It's already like selected in the search. Start typing the class name or something that so you can find that class and then it'll give us the ID.
So it
Okay.
starts with container. And it's like navigator or something. It's
Yeah, you can write like
sidebar
containers,
menu. That's
nav.
it.
You just get a little part, or if you found it, sorry.
Go back. Side is container, take out the N. And then sidebar menu item selected.
Sidebar menu item selected right here.
2 up from that, because that one's actually a so like a disabled state.
Yeah, the
there's-
selected.
Oh, right there.
Right there, yeah. So actually, you don't have to go into it. You have, I think you can't be in it to check this. So go back out of it, and then on the row for that class, that 3-dot menu, it's gonna have the ID in the bottom. So
Mhm.
copy that ID. It's like it starts with J, and I think if you just click it, it'll highlight the whole thing. Yeah. So copy that, and then go back to that code block, and we'll finish it up.
All right.
So in here on line 1, like right in the all the way in the beginning, like yeah. Type dot CSS lowercase, yep, underscore, and then paste in that ID we just copied, and then space, open a curly bracket. And if you want, you can press enter here. And then all the way at the end, and then if you want to tab that back out, it's up to you, but all the way at the end, just close the curly bracket, and then this will be done. It's like the formatting you might want to change for your own, like that'll work, but you might want to format it better for your own eyes or whatever. And then so that's good for that and save changes. And then that basically took those styles that were in the CSS originally. We just moved them to a code block. Now everything should be like back to normal, but
Okay.
hopefully that footer width will work.
Okay, that makes sense.
Awesome. So let's see here.
And there was a comment in the chat too about if you've tried on an actual phone. So that's a good question. Sometimes it looks wrong in the inspector, but an actual phone, it might even work.
Yeah, it was stretched on both ends.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Maybe I'll give it a quick refresh.
Yep.
I have a very hard time not asking how this experience is going to change by what we're about to release.
With AI styling.
And the responsive views.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. We have a thing coming for, I don't know if like people have seen it or not, because I think some people have seen it now. But you just like type in what you want for the styles and they'll do it. So you can actually say like fix this width even sometimes, depends on the problem, and fixes things for you and does all the stuff for you. So we're excited to hopefully eliminate a lot of these kind of problems. So that didn't work, right?
Doesn't appear to have. Nope.
Yeah, it
Back to the
almost feels
styles.
like there's like a min max or something. Because you
Yeah.
notice all the tabs at the bottom aren't shrinking.
Yeah.
Maybe we can inspect it here and see if we can
Oh
find.
yeah, it's good call. Yeah. If
Yeah.
you just
So
right click that footer in here, we can run through the styles that actually are on it and just find the one.
Right there, min width is being inherited.
Oh, yeah. And then it was out of breakpoint, I saw.
Mhm.
So I don't know what we were just selected on a second ago because it moved, but one of those items in the footer at
Uh-huh.
a medium gray breakpoint had a min width of 500 pixels, which means each of those options probably is going 500 pixels and it's like 1500 pixels wide.
Mm.
Huh.
So it's
Okay.
probably if you inspect right on that one that says that, yeah, like right on the image there, it'd be perfect, and hit inspect. And then on the right side, see how it's selected on that span?
Yep.
Maybe go up to the div above it. and just click on it, and then we'll see the styles for that. I'm not sure where it was. Did you catch where it was, Dorian? Which one? Which
I
item?
didn't, but a little bit higher. So it's not on this one. Yeah, go on that one.
This one here?
Just go one by one up. Right here. It's right here on
Okay.
this, the one we're on. Go back
Okay.
down.
One down, and just click on that right there. And we can see, like, if you look a little bit down, it says min width 500 pix in red
I
there.
see it. Yep.
So, and then if you look a little bit above it, it's at the 768 pixel media query. So that's actually, we just from knowing Builder, that's the tablet size icon.
Right.
And I believe that's the same class name we were just playing with. So it's probably right on that class we were on. And look at the tablet size, and we'll see min width 500 pix.
All right.
We can change that.
So let's see here. Get back in here.
So let's click through to that.
I gotta
page.
go to the component.
I remember it was in there, but I don't actually remember exactly which. I think it might be that column ledger blocks.
Gotcha. So let's see here.
So higher,
Yeah.
not that one.
Go up one. I think it's up to one. That
Try
one.
that one.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
look
no,
at that.
one
Did.
down.
Oh yeah, that is it, because we know the name of it. Yeah. So go into
Click
that.
into
style
that class, and
The-
then click on the tablet
right there.
right there. See where? See that? We should
Yeah.
move that.
So I should get rid of this here, right?
Yeah, you can just delete it out. We'll see,
Alright.
like, it might need a min width or something else. There might be a reason it was there, so you should test it like this, but that should at least fix the too wide part. We might just need to add something back in, like 50 pixels or something.
Okay.
I'll test it
Okay.
first. But
Let's see here. And another thing I noticed lately, when I hit refresh, I just kind of get hung up for whatever reason. So
like it's slow to load.
yeah, my workaround has been to close it out and just go back in and relaunch preview.
Oh, and then it
Right.
goes faster.
It loads back up. Otherwise, when I hit refresh on the page, it just kind of cycles like this.
Oh, that's
Do you,
weird.
Lewis, have you noticed if it's because you have this open? Because I always notice for me when I have this open, it's slower.
Come up this thing
when-
here.
Mhm.
Oh, that, or I think you fixed it. There you go.
Debugger can slow things down. It's so weird, but it's so helpful. So sometimes I try to only open it like right before the thing that I'm about to do. You know what I mean? That I'm trying to see.
Yep, that makes sense. So now the footer has
So I
became a
think
baby
that's just-
footer.
See how the footer and the header are the same width? I
Yeah,
think we just need to do that same process for probably those white boxes. Like something else is gonna have a width on it. And once you get
Okay.
rid of all those widths in the same way, everything will be 100% width and look correct. That's what
okay, well, I can do that on my own, so that makes sense. I appreciate that because I was trying to figure that out. And then I guess my last and probably final question will be, how do we ensure, one thing that we notice is like when we test it out on our phone, it starts off kind of magnified and we have to basically squeeze, or I don't want to say squeeze it. We have to pinch it down and make it fit. Is that normal for Builder for it to do that?
That's caused by what we're looking at, actually. So when you fix everything and there's no more extra widths coming out, it won't do that anymore. It'll lock, and like you'll notice right away, you'll be like, ooh, it'll feel like really solid in the browser. But
Okay.
it's just a CSS thing usually. I mean, that happens like while I'm building, that happens all the time. And then once I get everything finalized, it just goes away. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I'll hop in there. I can handle that. And if we have any issues, we'll come back next Thursday. So
That sounds great. Awesome, Lewis. Drew, is there any sort of general suggestions or recommendations that you have around width in responsive styling? Like don't put something in until the very end, or anything that might hit other people in that approach?
The best general thing actually is to like never hard code pixel widths if possible, but you can't always avoid it. So in this case, you might not be able, like you might need a min width somewhere, so you might not be able to avoid it. If you have to use it, then you just have to make sure you accommodate it at each media query breakpoint, just make sure it works everywhere. But I try to use whatever possible like percentages on widths, and then you never have to care about what the screen size is. It's always a percentage. It's always scaled.
Okay, that makes sense. And one last thing. As far as our UX is concerned, our vision is for it to basically be kind of like how we see it right now when it shows up on a mobile device. And we want this container here to be what it is. It stays like this, so the person can swipe left and right for these things. Any recommendations to make sure that this container kind of stays locked in place, like on a mobile device?
Just like I would do 100 VW, the
Okay.
VW unit. So it's like, which basically means 100% of the screen size.
Okay.
And then overflow auto, and it'll automatically add the scroll bar. And that's what I usually do on mobile, usually where it's actually a scroll bar, like a horizontal scroll. Sometimes people prefer like an actual swipe. And if you want the actual swipe, it's a little more complicated. Usually you want to like add a third-party JavaScript library actually that does swipes. It's not crazy, but it's like a couple more steps. But I actually personally prefer the scroll as a UI. Like in this case, like if I'm seeing these, like I think the scroll makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's kind of up to you at that point. If you want just the scroll, it's just 100 VW overflow auto.
Okay, cool.
Super. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you. Appreciate it, everyone. Thank you so much.
So let's do Arlene and then let's go to Thierry. Arlene, you had a question on repeating lists and counting records with length.
Yeah, and it may be just something pretty simple. So on my repeating list, and I can share my screen as well real quick. Share screen. Desktop one. Share. Okay, so you see my screen. So on my repeating list, at the end, I do a summary page for our form, and I'm getting all the records that's ever created for the user. I just want to see the current record. And when I do, so I'm gonna go in here. So when I build the record, for example, I have it set, maybe it's a different one, but I have it set at current record. And I used to do specific record. So I don't know if am I not using something here? Do I just only see the record they create in that one instance? Or do you have any ideas on that?
You mean you just created the record and then like one or two flows later, you're opening a page like this?
No, I'll create the record and then the next flow is to open the summary screen.
Oh,
and
so
it'll
like
show everything in whatever's been created in history. So I'm like, I just only want to show the records they do create for that day or that instance, not everything, in the data collection.
So, and like, you mean it's like a bug that's showing everything, right? Or you mean just how do you filter it? Because like, I think if you don't have the correct ID, it'll show everything. Like if it can't find an ID somewhere, it'll show everything. And it's like kind of a bug.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's
I mean, I don't know if it's a bug. I named it as a new Legiblocks ID. So once the record's created, that's the ID it should be assigned. And then on the repeating list, and I can do a preview page so you can just see what it looks like, and then we can go to the data as well. Let's see.
I see. I think I understand what the issue is.
Okay.
I think it's on the open because you're using an open container to open this form, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not being open in the same form.
Page. Yeah, it's a different page.
Yeah. And because when you're doing the open record, you have it set to pass the current record.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, you actually need to pass a specific record. And in that specific record, we need to filter it by that ID of the record that we just created. So if you go back to the studio and go back to the flow that happens after you create the record.
Okay.
And actually go in there, yeah. And then in this first flow or action here, scroll to the bottom and copy that variable. So we're going to need that. And then go to the next flow where you open it.
Mm-hmm.
And down here in the record context, change that instead of current, it's going to be specific. And then select the data collection, wherever we're storing those records. And then let's add a filter.
Okay.
For fields, just do all fields, so it gets
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
Yeah. And then click add filter, and then the first field to filter will be ID. So click in there. And then the value, click that little arrow on the right and change it from variable.
Oops. Oh,
It's okay.
um,
And yeah, and then go ahead and paste that value that we copied.
okay.
And then scroll down, and number of records is just 1,
Okay.
and JSON is what we want. And I
Okay.
think this should do it, because now it's going to take the new record context of the ID you just created and
Mhm.
push that on the new open page into container.
Okay, great. So then my next question is, because that might fix my next question. So once that runs and it generates that record, because like now I would have to create a record to see if it works, but I wanted to then count. So let me show you this screen. Let's see, what's it called? And I'll just show you the workflow. So I have it to where it'll count however many records they build
Mhm.
in that instance. And I know it works. I did the length function, but it wasn't actually counting anything. And maybe it's because, like you said, I didn't have it tell it specific records to count. But I just wanted to see if you guys could look over my my workflow here and see if that looks right. Because I just added a length with a record ID. So should that work now since I changed it to specific record?
No, because the value that's going into that variable is not a set of records. It's literally just the ID value.
Oh, okay.
So I'll need to understand the context of, like, from beginning to end, all the types of records that they're creating to know how to filter and find those records for you.
Okay.
Because in that last page we were on, it looks like you're creating one record. Are there previous steps that create additional records, or?
No, it's a form. It's just a long form.
Mhm.
Where we use multiple pages. And then it creates one single record that we feed into the summary for review. And if the person wants to keep it, they can delete it or not.
I
And then
see. I see.
once they keep it, I wanted to count that record. So it should say one record or 2 records. 'Cause
I
have
see.
them
So,
repeated if need
so you're
to.
just trying to count all the records that exist for this specific user?
Yes.
I see. Okay. So yeah, we can just do that on the last page then.
Okay.
So if you go back to that page, what we'll need to do is first set a variable where we're getting all the records for this user. So you can do it inside that same flow where you're setting the count. We'll just add a set variable action before it.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead and search for set variable. Yep, right there.
Oh, that's not
Oh,
it.
wrong one.
My hands get excited. Sorry.
It's all good.
Set variable. There it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one. And then drag that above the element. Yeah. And then let's put a weight between them. Or you
Okay.
can drag the other one down. Sometimes it's easier to do that when it's the first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm like, I always struggle.
Right there. There you go.
I'll put away.
Yeah, and the target, we'll just set it to current because we only need it in the current page. Just give it whatever name you want to give this variable, like,
Yeah, record.
yeah. And then for the value, we're going to click that little arrow on the right and change that to data collection.
Okay.
We're going to select the collection of the records we're trying to count. And for the field, since it's just a count, we probably just want to keep the data minimal. That way they get this as fast as possible. So I would just get the ID only instead of getting all the fields, because now it adds, every time you're adding more data. For the filters, click add filter. And I'm not sure what the context is, or how do you filter these records for this specific user? Is it just the created by, or?
Yeah, it'll be, I was just thinking about like one of the categories or something like that.
So click in the field and let's see what you have in here.
maybe,
Because you're trying to get a count of all the records that a specific user created, or based on categories, or I'm not sure what these other fields store.
just, well, yeah, it's a, like I said, it's a multi-list, so every record is like a repair. So a repair happened on the home. We're saying, okay, what kind of repair is it? Who did it? What date and time? So if it's more so of an instance of the form, whenever they fill out the form, because I have them repeat it if they want to add another record, and then at the end of it all, I want them to see that, okay, I've added 2 records in today's instance. So should I do it by maybe modify date and time, or should I keep it at ID?
Yeah, I think it's gonna need multiple filters because
Can be
one,
property address. I don't know if property address is the field, but that's what I think it is. It's not exactly user. It's like that property. That's what all the repairs would be tied to.
Yeah.
And then also date, if you want to get just today's, right? I think it'd be those, something like those two.
exactly.
I don't know if property address is like always unique and that's like a good thing to reference on or not. It probably is, it's good here, I think. Like when I'm looking at this, I'm like, that probably works, but just make sure. Usually you'd like reference an ID. So an address is like a little bit unusual, but I feel like it would work here.
Okay.
Yeah, and then for the value, I'm not sure where we need to get that value from. Where do we have the context of the property address?
As far as what was the available name for it, or
Like meaning
Like
in
at
like
the
in
end, like when you're doing the count, yeah, it's like, how can we know what property it's for? Is there a way to figure that out?
like, do you have that in a variable from that we can pull from the root? Or is it
I
another
was
data collection, or how do we find that?
my mind was thinking about putting. Okay, so we've been working on parts of it at a time, but our thinking is to have it correlate per user. So every user, if they, like you said, own an address and they're adding records to that particular address.
So it's one address per user, basically, in that scenario.
Then we can change it to created by.
Because in that case, yeah, it makes everything a lot easier. You could just filter by created by, which
Yeah.
will always be the signed in user.
Yes, that's what I want, by assigning
Okay.
you.
Then yeah, let's change that, and it does simplify it. So do created by, and then
Okay.
for the value, click that little drop arrow and then change it to current user info.
Oh, okay.
And then the field will be the ID.
Okay.
Okay. So let's scroll up and let's copy that variable name that you entered there. So we're going to use it. And go to the element set value now. And here for that first argument, instead of root page, we're going to change that to current page because that's where we're setting the variable. And then replace that variable name with the one you copied. And that should do it.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
Hey guys, I'm just gonna chime in after this. If we can switch to Thierry and see if we can help him out, and then if we need to jump back to Arlene, we can.
Well, no, let's go ahead and switch out. I think that'll help me a lot.
Are you sure? Maybe just test it out and then let us know. Hang on the call.
And I can put it on, on Discord, and let you know.
Okay,
But
awesome.
thank you guys so much. That helps a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. It's looking good.
Thank you.
It's looking real good. Awesome. Okay, Thierry, I would love to call you up whenever you're ready, and just kind of walk us through what the setup of what you're trying to do is and what issue you're running into.
Right. Hello, everybody. I have a question about my project. Let me share my screen first. This one. Yeah. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, in this project, I have a single page. And in this page, after clicking on this button, I will get a trouble in my flow. So how it runs? Okay. Okay, I give a date to have and I make it both. And now in this page, I'm looking to calculate a price with very simple math operators. I put some value here, and if you look on this, my price is $10, and this is value to control everything here. Okay, actually, all my value for the calculus are printed on the console. The change rate is 1, the price is 10, the first payment is 10, the currency is USD, and the status of this menu is 1. If I change this, everything is updated and calculated correctly.
Yeah.
First payment is 5. I can change this, and every time I change this submenu, I will calculate again and again. If I'm using this currency menu, I will call a test to be sure which value is it, and then select the right value of the current value of the current currency. For example, I'm choosing euro. You could see that the value of euro is this one. I have called correctly the variable and printed in the console, but it's after the calcul here. So the result is wrong. To check this, I could push on this button to have the calcul again manually. And now the result is good. Okay. Each time I'm changing this or this, I'm calling the same flow. And my problem is normally this variable change rates is updated first, then the calcul is after. But as you could see, every time I change something, first is a calcul, and secondly is the update of the variable. So the calcul is every time wrong automatically. But not, just to show you, but not when I do this, it's okay. Because current variable change rate is at the right state in the memory. Okay.
Yeah, I had one question on the currency. When you toggle the currency,
Yes.
where does it get the rate from? Is that going out to an API?
No.
The new rate, or is just hard coded?
No. First of all, when I start here at the beginning, when I start here, I will call all the value I need. I will use get quote to call API and get my results. And the final, when success, I only use this flows. Okay. This is the starting flows. First of all, I close all unneeded containers. Then I set all the elements in this part, policy name, etc. All the value. I initiate the default value for the change rate variable. And I'm calling the currency rate from external backend. Store the currency rates into a variables. Then I'm calling a flow named action set price. Okay. If we go to set price, I am tracing the change rate because I'm looking for the bug. I'm setting the variables to make my calcul. This is my API response by change rate. I change the number into money. Then I'm going to calculate the first payment, changing in the money, and I'm tracing everything after. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I call this flow, name set price. Manually, everything is okay. At the first time, it's okay, but when I update by calling a change of variable using the currency submenu, I got a trouble in the calcul.
Yeah, let's see what happened. Like, what do you have bound to that select change event?
Yes, if
Yeah, that one.
you select this one and go to the event,
Mhm.
I go action, select menu currency.
Okay, and let's see what that's doing.
A flow setting the change rate variables and a flow calculating the new price.
Yeah, I think what the problem is not properly weighting.
I'm thinking it's problem of delay
Mhm.
between the answer of the check here.
Yeah, I think what you can do to solve it is, so you see all these actions that you have in the values here, where you do the set change rate to
Yes.
US and etc.
Yes, this is some test. Okay, calling separate flow. One for each money.
This is where at the end of this flow on each
That's
of them,
the other one.
you want to nest in the flow to change to set the price.
Yeah, because this will ensure that it's changing the rates and then running the calculation.
Sure.
So if you go back to the action we were on,
This one,
one more back, the original one, the one from the menu.
set price.
No. It was the select menu currency, I think.
Select menu currency.
Yeah, the one that's
Yeah.
set on that.
Select menu currency.
Yeah. So you see that action set price, the second
Sure.
one, remove
So-
it from here. And then instead, like if you open that first one that's there, the set change rate. And then we essentially want to nest it inside of the flows that run after it changes the currency.
Yeah.
Not here, but the one you see those, I think it's like 5 different ones that you have where it says
All the
set
ones that are
change.
set change rate, all
Yeah.
the flows that start with set change rate.
Yeah.
The first one is
It's further down. It starts with set space change underscore rate.
We can see it on the right that it's set, but like you also have it in the list you're on the left. But it starts with not action. It's with just the word just S down at the bottom for set.
okay. This one.
Yeah, those. Each one of those, there's 4 of those. Each one of those, you have to nest that action at the end of.
At the end of this
Of
one,
these.
you
Yeah.
want to start
Exactly.
the calculation.
So go to nest right here at the top in that little menu. And then it was called, I think, action set price, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like that. That basically just ensures that it waits until this is done. That's all we did is change the order.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now if we try it, hopefully that solves it for us here.
Are we gonna be 3 for 3 today?
It's unheard of.
Uh-huh.
Okay, if I change for euro, it's okay now.
Right.
Perfect. Yes. Okay, good. And if
You know what I
change,
think it is? Are you good?
yes, I am really happy.
Okay,
Nice.
great. I'm happy too. It's also my birthday. I think that's probably why we're going for the win and streak today. It's a special day. Thank you for letting us help with that.
Very
And-
nice. Thank you very much.
Glad to
Yeah.
have you in the call. All right. So next up, let's call Spaceman. I think hopefully we can. Are you still on the call if you want to come up and
Thank you, guys.
thank you, Thierry. Let's see, calling up Kyle.
I have another short question if you want.
Yeah,
Yes, okay. I share my screen again.
let me see if I can chat him. Maybe he's got us muted.
If you take this page and select the page body, then go to the list of variable. You will see some blank value for invisible variables and some strange here. And I would like to have an idea to clean or to be sure that this is nothing.
If you scroll to the right,
This one?
yeah, on that one, I want to see if it has the X to remove. You'll see the scroll bar at the bottom there on the, or not all the way at the bottom, but under currencies underscore rate. A little further down, or maybe press the right arrow. Yeah. So that doesn't have the X to remove it. So that means it's coming from an action. Yeah, there's some action where that value was pasted as the variable name.
Could it be something invisible into an action I erased a long time ago?
It could be. We can manually remove it. But it
Sometimes
will,
when I
it
want
will
to
bring it
remove
back.
this, I do that.
Yeah, go there and scroll to the bottom.
Sure, like this one.
Yeah, so remove that and then
This
that one.
one.
That's
No
the one.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I remove
Mhm.
like this, I will get it again the next
When-
time I use
When
it.
you add a variable. Yeah. Yeah, there's some action in the flows that has a blank value as a variable name and that argument as the name. So you'll have to find them. What I would do is I'd just go to the left on the flows and just go into each one and see any of them that have a set variable action.
Into
On the
the-
left side, yeah, click on flows, and I would just start one by one until I find. So that one doesn't have one. So I would just go through
Oh.
each one and find.
Of course, I will do that. I understand what you are talking about. We don't need to spend time on that now. Because I will change when my app will be finished, I will clean that and check everything to be sure that there is nothing bad somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe I could add something to track this variable in the console only. To see
Yeah,
where
to see if
appears.
it's still being used or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will any of that info be available in the debugger, Dorian?
Not if it's not being used.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay.
That's right, it's only shows what's being used. Okay.
As you know, I don't use the internal database, only external backend. And when you create a page, you have some flows by default.
Yeah, the page
I
binding.
think this one is not necessary in my project. Could you confirm this?
Yeah, if you're not, that's only used for builder data collections, but yeah, you can go ahead and remove it.
So I could remove. without-
Yeah, and you can always add it back if you ever need it, but. So
But
it's,
I need to keep this one maybe if I want to bind some page or element from page to page, right?
Yeah, like with variables, sometimes you bind. It's good to keep that one.
Yes. Okay. That's nice. Thank you very much for your help.
yeah, no problem.
Thank
Bet.
you. Thank you.
You bet. We're happy to have you. So Spaceman, we didn't hear back from him and I chatted him. I think he might not be on the call. So does anyone have anything else?
No, he's just chatting. He's
Oh, hey, come on up. Are you ready?
I'm sorry, I had a customer I hadn't seen in a long time just show up, and I love talking to him, so I had to go talk to him for a little
How
bit.
dare you? I can't believe you ghosted us.
I know. I just like missed the whole thing. I literally just got back. Okay, let me
Today, so I'm feeling good about this. Next.
okay, let me see what problem I need to solve today. Let me get into Builder real quick. Am I in Builder? I'm sorry.
Hey, man.
Dashboard. Let me hide this. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. All right, and we are gonna get it. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Kyle, we've got 7 minutes before pro office hours.
I know. I need to join those. That's what I really need to do.
Everyone gets like 45 minutes.
That sounds more like what I need. Okay, can we see?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So really what I just need a little bit of help with right now. I've got the API call working on the podcast app. But what I need is, I don't know what's going on there. Let me just delete this hidden real quick. We can look at it. I don't know. There it is. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so I'm trying to get the time into this I don't know, element, right?
Yep.
So when I hit I've got this time actually working. So that's pulling from the API. But I can't set this source to actually show the current state of where the audio is actually at.
Do you know how and you tried and it didn't work, or you mean you just don't know how in the first place?
No, I've tried multiple ways,
Okay.
every way except the right way, apparently.
I don't exactly know how to do that. I'm gonna Google it real quick, see if I can.
Because I'm using Mark's template basically.
Mhm.
And I just try to debug that or reverse engineer it basically. But he's not using an API to do it. He's basically just saying, use an audio source that's in the media player or in the library, right?
You can actually do it. I just looked it up and it's just a property. So like when the audio file is loaded in the media player, it can read the current time from the media player. So it doesn't matter that it comes from an API or computer or wherever. It'll be able to read it, and it's a property where, like, if you have the audio element, it's just .current time, and it gives you a time. So I don't know. I'm not super familiar with the audio actions, but I know we have some audio actions. If we don't have one for current time, we could probably modify one and make it show the current time pretty easily.
That's interesting.
But
Okay.
I honestly don't know. Like, I don't know if you want to search through the actions and see if there's one around it. But
Audio set source, toggle set volume, audio seek.
I think it's seek, right? Or no, that's just
Seek would go to
I think
one.
that goes forward and
Yeah,
backward.
yeah, but it would be something that like reads it. Like, I'm looking at these. Do any of these read? I guess they don't really read.
Mhm.
It's probably the same. Like if we looked in the code for audio set volume, it probably gets the audio player element that's selected and then runs .set volume, and we just need to run .current time. So I think it's probably doable as a thing, or we could maybe do it in a custom JavaScript, like the run custom JavaScript flow. Because essentially what you'll do is you'll have a thing that reads the current time, and you just loop it every second. So it'll just loop, and it'll just keep updating that current time value.
Kyle, are you going to want to use that in different places?
Yeah. So what I'll do is as soon as they hit this, basically they'll be able to minimize it, and then it's going to pop over to like another part of the screen. So I've got to put that on the home page, because these are all like pages being brought in to a main page, I guess.
So Drew, what do you think, JavaScript or the action, custom action?
Well, if it's literally one single place that the media player always is, then it shouldn't matter, really. But if I were making this, I would use the custom act. I would like duplicate one of those actions and do it as an action because like there's a chance you'll have a different media player. It just like makes sense as a thing for a custom action. So it's kind of up to you though, but
So you'd go into the main, do you know how to get to the actions list, Kyle? And then you would
yeah.
search. Yeah, so search for, what was it, audio set? Something?
Set source, set volume.
try like set volume. I think that's a good one to look at.
Good.
And one
not-
thing I did notice, just real quick, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Cord, is that when I'm copying actions, sometimes it's duplicating every single action, even if I'm just trying to copy one. Which is kind of throwing me off because it's like, I didn't want to paste 5 different actions. So I'm getting duplicates, but that's neither here nor there.
What do you mean when you copy, like in the,
So
And-
yeah, so like let's say I was coming
Mhm.
over to a page, right? And well, I can just do this real quick. I can go to like the audio player. And then I can come over here and then like let's say I was just trying to copy one of these actions that Mark created, right? And I were to copy it. And then I were to go back over and then I were to paste it like in this page, it would paste every single action.
does
that-
it have nested actions?
Yeah,
that's-
It
it
brings them
brings
all over.
all the
Oh,
dependencies.
so
you
if
want
they're
the
nested,
one, yeah, if you want the one action, you have to click the 3 dots of the actual action instance on the right. And then you just create the main flow
Okay.
over here.
that
and
makes
paste it into
sense.
that flow.
That makes sense. Okay, so it's my bug, not your bug. Okay. Okay.
I told you, we're having a great session today. It's you, the user, not us.
Okay, so audio and then just like set volume for
So like, have you done custom actions yet? Are you familiar with this at all?
no, but it looks like it's JSON, right?
Well, there's basically 2 parts. There's this part, which is JSON, and then there's also an action type function. So if you look, we can actually look at the function first, maybe, but yeah, in that function, search for like set volume. It'll be something similar. Yeah, I see it in there.
Okay.
So like choose one of those, and there's JavaScript in here. So this is where you'll have to modify. See where it says in the 3rd line, audio L.volume equals volume.
Yeah.
Maybe before you type, let me just say what we'll do because there might be a couple steps actually. But audio L, that's your audio element. So if you say audio L.current time, it would output the current time of the playing audio element. So there's gonna be more steps, but that's the change you'll need to make. But basically, you're gonna need to output it and either save it as a variable or set it into an element. And you do that in the action type. So the action type will call this new function you make that calls current time, and then the action type will like set it into a variable. So I don't know if there's time to go through it all now or if that makes enough sense, but like there is this video that explains that in depth. Then maybe like with the video plus what I just said, you can put it together and do it because I don't think we'll have time. We basically have to go now because we have problems.
Yeah. You got what video is it?
I'll send it to you. Well, I can send it to you in Discord or it's called
Discord's fine.
action types. Like if you go into our education section and search action types, it's
Okay.
the action types video really means like custom action types.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Well, sorry, I am like super late.
No, it's all good.
And I will probably see you on pro office hours at some point.
Okay, that sounds great. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for the great session. Guys, we'll see you in the other Google Meet and have a great weekend. Bye.
Right there.